It's time. Lower bracket finals of the first tournament that we have officially been running. Preseason 9 showdown. And the final series gets ever closer. Just one of these players will be going into the grand finals for a showdown with 3D Clans B. Will it be former 3D Clan member Anatan, who's now with My Insanity, kicking off this series with the Roos in the blue? Or is it going to be the beast from the east, the master of the Chinese, Louis MT on his master civ, Jeanne D'Arc in the pink? Let's find out. Dry Arabia starts us off here. A best of 3 elimination series in the lower bracket. That's right, we have been ruthless with this tournament. Best of 1s all the way through just to get this deep, and you don't even get a best of 5. You don't even get breathing room. One game really easily could be the difference here. 33% of the series potential. Well, I'm not surprised by the results. Look at that tracking prediction. Louis MT with the overwhelming majority of the points, and for good reason here, folks. Louis MT, signature civ. I've been on record when Jeanne came out, the first few months, I said Louis was the best Jeanne player in the world. The way that he navigated the early game and found value with her in the late game was unparalleled amongst his peers. Times have changed, though. People have caught up, and Jeanne needs to show some new tricks, and she has some new tricks, folks. She received some buffs. She's now able to produce her unique units out of their respective buildings. If you choose the champions, build Raxus. If you choose the riders, build stables. And I can tell you, the riders especially are fantastic bang for buck. And actually a bloody good answer against the Roos, if I do say so. You have the movement speed to chase down these horse archers, so the dynamics in this matchup are very different to those you'll find in the French matchup. With this matchup, the key requirement is Jeanne needs level 3. If she can get level 3, horse archers will get countered by the horsemen unique to Jeanne. But we're not going to go that way about it. We've seen Louis versus Anatan already. Last time we saw it in this tournament, it was French versus Roos, and there was trade in that game as well. The machinations involved here are very different, though, guys. For a start, it's an insanely good trade map. Look at the corners. But the other one that I absolutely love is in this matchup, it's about forcing presence on the map. It's so powerful for Jeanne. This is the logic on why Chamber of Commerce is meant to be better for her than it is for French. Is Jeanne feeds off of people having to come out of their base to fight you because of the XP. This achieves that goal in a way that School of Cavalry never can. Other side, though, Anatan is going to look to hunker down and not come out. We've got Golden Gate play coming, which usually is indicative of a Castle Age rush. What was the final prediction like? Okay, people pivoted back towards Anatan. I mean, he's looked really impressive with these Roos builds. Another thing is, like, last time we saw these two, there was a certain exploit that came out that we didn't know about until after the fact, which is not allowed now. So something in Jeanne and France's late game has to be disabled in this tournament. I don't want to give away the specifics. You can watch the videos to find out. Deer location looking good. This is a shove-in, right? Yeah, this is cool. So the whole idea of building 3 scouts, it gets you the majority of sheep on the map. In fact, look at that difference. Jeanne only with 8. Meanwhile, you've still got 12 here. And then you shove in the deer afterwards. This is no different than the logic of building a military school and building spearmen out of it, right? The difference there is, like, the military school costs you 250. This hunting cabin costs you 100 resources. 2 scouts cost you 70 each. So it's 240 total compared to the, what was it, 350, I think I said? But the difference there is, of course, yes, you will passively produce units over a long period. But the funny thing is this building pays for itself over time anyway. It makes it such a valuable transitional play to hop into the deer push. Wait, has Louis MT been spreading out his cock throughout the entire lower bracket? Well, that hasn't been long. Wait, no, I fell into the trap there. He, of course, was in the losers semi-finals in the first place. It was Myriad versus Louis there. So Louis, in the upper bracket, we of course saw it once. I don't know if he had it coming out too often earlier on, but what on? Oh. This madman is trading with Anatan's trade post. I mean, we did say it forces you to fight, but this is to the extreme. There's a corner trade. He has got a villager walking, so he will eventually switch it, but this is a bait. This is a dangle. He wants him to come out. He needs him to come out. And he will. Stable's being dropped now by Anatan. He's having none of this. Deer have been shoved in. Looks like 2 of them will get blocked, so good read by Louis. Minimizes some of the value. But most of them are nice and home. Actually, Louis could have ran in and sniped 2 more of these because it's like not in TC range, right? So you wouldn't get griefed. First knight has been queued up. Now, keep in mind, Louis doesn't have knights, guys. So in theory, this is good, but because Anatan reacts with knights, Louis now in trouble. Usually the way this plays out in like a knight on knight situation is as long as you're 1 knight ahead, Jeanne's safe. You're about to be several knights down. Louis doesn't have a stables yet. He cancelled it. This is insanely greedy. I don't know if Louis scouted this yet. By the time he knows about the knight, it might be too late. I mean, how many traders have we got on the line here? It's already 5 traders, and he's actively produced 2 of them. Knight is shuffling by, though. Scout is going to sniff this out so he can turn around and come in for the attack. Anatan, he was willing to walk up a mountain for this. Turns out he only needs to go to the local gift store. The traders are basically here, and the pivot to go for the long trade is going to allow him to get a efficient interception here within seconds. First trader down. Second knight has already been queued up, remember, and the scout is going to stick on this. He sees it all. 2 scouts are shifting out to see what's happening over on the west side. And Louis, what was the idea here? This is like the most greedy thing imaginable. Guys, you can't just wall the map for free anymore, especially against cav civs. It takes 8 seconds to build 1 of these tiles. That's double the duration it used to be, that it is currently on Season 8. And why that matters so much is not just the exposure point, it's the idle time. Your economy is so much worse off than it is in Season 8 and Season 9 if you commit to this play. And well, last time we may have seen Louis make it work, but last time when Louis made it work, when he got the trade online, it was on wetlands, which has a lot more tree lines to play around. This place is barren and open, man. This does not feel safe to do. Knight now going to shuffle in. Who would win, Jeanne or 1 knight? I feel like 1 knight wins that. The only reason he's not committing is there is a gate here, so you can get cheesed. So he's going to shuffle out. There's another trader to be found, though. Oh, that was so close. And keep in mind, while all this harassment is happening, Anatan is teching. I think we're going to have a quick game here, folks. Wall's still not up, and it probably isn't going to get up now. There's not that many villagers in the area, and none of them in position. He has at least got wheelbarrow, so in theory it was doable, but at this stage, too late. Get your numbers in, by the way. That high trade house, nicely parked. Jeanne's dead. Maybe the 1 knight can save you. It's kind of tight, right? It looks like Anatan doesn't want to risk it. So that was good maneuvering. The 1.38 movement speed gets her away. But this is how scary playing Jeanne is against heavy cav civs for this reason. And now this follow-up is even scarier, guys. It's going to be horse archers. Yeah, double archer range already prepped. And if you're wondering, why don't you go for Abbey of Trinity, there's no pressure. And also, I don't think you really go Abbey of Trinity on any map that doesn't offer you big, that offers you big tree lines, right? It's only good on maps like Prairie. And in this matchup in particular, Saint's Blessing doesn't make much of a difference because the armies are a bit too mobile. It can work against clumped up, slow-moving armies where like you're going to bulk cheaper units, right? But when you're adding cav, horse archers, this isn't your dime a dozen spearmen and archer spam at 80 a pop. Yeah, everything is just too high base damage, basically. Like, knights on the other side, +1 armor is not going to reduce their kill effect much. +1 damage on horse archers isn't bad. +1 damage on knights is kind of irrelevant. So yeah, Saint's Blessing at that point just doesn't really swing it compared to this. That's going to be 142 gold. Cha-ching. Our walls are up. So the trade is underway for Louis. Something tells me Anatan isn't going to be as slow to pull the trigger as he was in the last matchup they had. And also, the trade isn't as impressive as it was in the last matchup they had. We're only at 8 right now. I wondered, does Anatan forgo the Warrior Monks? No, okay. So I wondered if he was actually going to forgo the Monastery to get enough torch power first to burn through the walls. But he's happy to let this play out for another minute or two before breaking. In fact, he's going to start to break through now. That's interesting. So instead of taking it where the boar is, he's taking it towards the main base. Presumably because he was expecting Louis to be in position on the north side. And he was right. Jeanne and the Knights are running back now. By the time they get here, the wall should be on fire. Remember, when you age up, when you tech up, I actually changed it. So Season 8 and before, your torch damage was attached to your age. They revamped it in Season 9, if I remember correctly. So now your torch damage output is attached to the tier of your unit, whether it's elite, vet, and whatnot. Which was an interesting change, actually. Oh, nice. I'm going to have to clash here. Horse Archers the dive in. Looking on the zone. He's getting some XP, but Louis, he can't hang around here. Jeanne is going to get dove. Divine Restoration gets pumped. But the Horse Archers will get the kill. A little bit expensive, though. Very expensive, in fact. And I'm not sure if that was entirely worth it versus just kiting the fight and killing with Horse Archers. But we'll see in the follow-up. Second wave's arriving. Louis starting to stockpile what he needs for Castle. Can't really afford to go back into buying Jeanne into this. We'll lag him behind in his timing, but he does it anyway. So 250 to get the Gal back. Horse Archer count is going up, and that's scarier than the Knight count here. Knight, ooh, didn't use the Divine Arrow in time. Louis sleeping a bit. We'll save it in the end. So another 24 XP. Horse Archer count's too high. He doesn't have enough Knights here. I think Louis needed Horsemen, but he got scared because of the fact that there's also Knights coming. Like, Anatan's comp was just good enough, just balanced enough to force Louis to have to build Knights in a game where he really needed Horsemen. And now we have a blocker to the trade, folks. Now, that's not the end of the world. Louis can just redirect towards the Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, he's going to get less from that, but better to get something than nothing at all. So far, though, he refuses to change. Villager's going to get sniped. Horse Archers will get clipped, but I love the way that Anatan's playing this. He's pulling further away so that Jeanne doesn't get the XP. He's staying out of range of her. The wall burn through is going about to recommence, but there's not many to do it with. Only one Torture coming, more on the way. We have got to play out to the ball, and relics are now on the way home for Anatan. In the meantime, Royal Institute now being teched up by Louis MT. And traders are on standby, not able to commit to this yet. I wonder if Anatan would have been better served by building like 5 scouts for the burn here. Would have allowed him to probably go to the Warrior Monks quicker and then burn through here, because I don't think the Knights matter that much. You just saw the best way to fight this is not to A-click the fights, it's to peel it away from Jeanne. And Knights don't really do that for you, Horse Archers do. Ooh. Yeah, a bit of a misplay there. Villagers were heading home. Luckily, the Wolf doesn't target the 2 HP Villager. Every little counts at this point, and that means he didn't even kill the boar. Oh. Oh, no. And I think he's going to lose a Villager. Okay, so 1 down. He's at least going to get the Wolf. However, in return, Louis is also going to feel pain. Those traders have to go for the short trade. A reminder, folks, he still has 14 of those. So this type of distance, you're probably going from like, what, 60, maybe 70 down to about 45? He doesn't even want to drop off right now, which is kind of crazy here. But I think he's worried about the wraparound, and for good reason. It is on the way. Alongside Boy's Fortitude, which is going to make it even harder now for Jeanne to get XP out of these fights. Oh, wait, you're right. I'm an idiot. Short trade, he can't do it. It's there. I'm an idiot. You're right. I'm an idiot, guys. We're 7.5 hours in. We'll forgive that little no-no. 69. Okay, he sneaks by. Oh, that is crafty. And yeah, he couldn't go for the east side because Anatan walled that ages ago. Damn. So he's going to get the 1 drop off. this short trade just isn't even worth it. You might as well risk microing them up because this will get you like probably 20 resources each. So I think you're going to see him just try to send it with a very nice number. Anatan kind of realizes he's been bamboozled. Mistakes were made there. Royal Institute is on the way, so Anatan needs to start striking down this knight count soon, or it's going to become a problem. Jeanne is feeling ambitious. Walls haven't been broken through, guys. But he can bring a Ruin Roses this. Love the peel of just a few horse archers to intercept the trade while the rest of the army is distracted here. Free is creeping closer. In the meantime, Anatan's no reaction here. He doesn't actually jump onto the trade. Villagers are in trouble, though. Look what he's found here. Knights, they base it. They block it. The walls are going to go up. But the horse archers should be able to reap for that. Way too many villagers here. The micro through. A few of them already dead. Might have to gate just to go through the other side. Otherwise, going to get ran down here. The traders are also running into trouble. Gate to get through to the other side. But this is costly. Louis losing eco. Being idled up with about half of his active economy right now. And the horse archers once again run in. Level 3 seems guaranteed at this stage, but it's definitely come at a price in this game for Louis MT. And Anatan has been milking it fully. He's got 4th Relic on the way home. Sacred Site's likely to be locked in. Pressure is coming in on the ford with more knights getting added here. And the horse archers are still an effective kiting tool against these knights. We don't have cantled saddles, right? No. Kind of crazy. He prioritized biology, or rather royal bloodlines, over the cantled saddles. Horse archers are going to start poking away at this. Level 3 Jeanne's in, and this should be the riders. Rohirrim has arrived. This is his counter force. Jeanne's riders, 6 base armor against ranged attacks, and the bonus damage to follow through. Oh, sorry, not bonus damage total, but 14 as a base. The chase should be good enough against 110 HP unit. 259 HP. Remember, Jeanne's riders, they don't get the overall ranged arc. They just get bonus damage against crossbows. But they are offsetting half of the horse archer damage. Knights, by comparison, have 4 base. These guys have an extra 2. And what I love about these units, I think they are going to come into the meta, by the way, is they feel very cost efficient with consecration. Look at that. 155 resources. Jeanne. I think Louis may have misread the timing here. Maybe not. The Jeanne's riders, they're absorbing all the shots. The horse archers need to be targeting down the knights instead. Finally, the micro gets on point. Anatan able to shove him away here. Louis trickling these royal knights in. Did cost him dearly. Riders have been mopped up. Horse archer count looks healthy. And all of a sudden, the difference in knight count is shrinking. God damn. He's doing it. Anatan. It's all about finding that balance. We talked about it earlier. At a stage where he didn't really need knights, he was building them, and then when he needed more, he wasn't building enough. This is the kind of ratio you want to see. Like a 2-to-1 is pretty nice here. You don't want to just be raw knights because the French ones are better. This gives you an ability to kite, but it also allows you to kind of overwhelm when your opponent overextends. Also, it allows you to reset. Like if knights are on top of you and you're trying to step away, horse archers are going to die. But with the knight line, you're able to club, retreat, club, retreat. So you're always able to keep like a 2-tile difference with horse archers to make sure your blast cannons aren't dying. Wait, are we having a debate about the name of the lower bracket? Alright, I'm just going to say, if it's called loser bracket, it's called loser bracket. I know I call it lower bracket, but I do sometimes want to, like, people are trying to be very PG. It's like, well, you had to lose to be there. You don't just end up there by default in these tournaments. There are some formats where you do, and that's when it should be called a lower bracket. Louis, 20 knights now. Anatan must be into farms, right? Only 2 so far. He's done a good job of min-maxing the map, but the map is slowly running dry here. The anarchy in this game right now. Louis is struggling to just patch the holes. It's like he's on a ship that just keeps getting shot at. The holes keep appearing and he keeps plugging them with his fingers. But, you know, you've only got so many fingers. And the whole point of that metaphor is there's only so many things you can react to optimally. In that situation, when there's 4, 5, 6, 7 different raids going in, it's easier to be the attacker than the defender when you're spreading across trade. That's why these walls have been so important for him. Right, here we go. Anatan marching in with 20 knights and 30 horse archers. Scout out comes in on the village's textiles. Should be able to keep the casualty to a minimum here. Backstab is coming through though. And Joan, she could get level 4 off of this type of fight. Horse archers start to target down. Knights are spreading out. Is the horse archer DPS good enough though? There's no real kiting going on. Anatan is just standing his ground here. Horse archers look like they're getting a good trade, but not good enough. The knight count is too high. 14 of them left over. And remember, if it's just Joan versus an army of horse archers, she gets tickled by them. So he needs to start kiting. This would be good if the trade was here, right? That would be the difference, is that Anatan could block eco while fighting. He does still have the military lead, but I am getting worried about how many of these knights are getting thrown away. Second wave is now arriving, however. And the horse archers are just ignoring the threat. Anatan's. He understands the way you lose this fight is engaging. I think there is a snipe opportunity here that's worth it. And he starts to realize it. Just needs to find the time between attacking to snipe down the injured. Damn, dive in here. Trader's in trouble. Horse archers no longer really moving. The body blocks are going to be effective to min-max the damage from the knights. The eco lead now taken by Anatan. He still has about 10 of these horse archers to roam around with. Behind this, we aren't seeing a TC transition. We're not seeing a farm transition. The farm detail does worry me. Remember, the French can get food off of trade, which is why Anatan is focus firing this. He's feeling starved out, so he's trying to starve Louis out as well. Sacred Sites also getting locked in. Just so much extra cheddar in the pocket for Anatan, right? He's got 3,000 gold in reserve at this stage. I know I said Saint's Blessing doesn't really matter that much to these type of units, but in fairness, if you're going to mass knights, every little counts. So I actually kind of like that we've got more warrior monks coming in. Because remember, it's +1 armor and +1 damage. So it's a 2 damage differential with what you're fighting. Honestly, you could probably just take Anatan's name out and put Demus in. It's like the only other person I see play horse archers this much. Usually by now, people are trying to shift off of him, and I think Anatan may have reached that point. We've got crossbows queued up. No more horse archers coming. This is just baiting, wasting time, keeping the eco down while the switch up is on the way. Here's what we're talking about. There are some unique techs that can buff you up, right? Yeah, he hasn't taken the duration. He did take the AoE, and I believe it's the +1 damage. So, yes, we will now have the +2, and then you have the +1 armor. So, 3 damage differential. Duration's pretty valuable, but I think his thought process here is a while back, they did buff warrior monks to have more range, so they can kind of stab over like Sipahi would. So the logic is that you shouldn't really be losing warrior monks anytime soon, so they should be able to sustain the buff in a fight versus knights. Night dive, though. Anatan, he's not well protected. He did go 2 TC. He needs to draw attention away. The A-click is following him over. That's going to get the reaction army in position. So Louis, he was so close to discovering the squishy underbelly. Instead, though, he reacts to 1 knight. And Anatan saves himself from a dire fall there. It's at least enough to get Louis the eco lead for the time being. Knight lead still sits with Louis. This is feeling like an awkward dance, man. It's kind of intriguing, the two players' approach, right? Like, Anatan doesn't wall much. Louis walls probably too much in a lot of circumstances. And that happened last game as well. I remember on Wetlands, Anatan was in a situation where you expect walls much earlier. He eventually got to it, but didn't want to waste the early game. I think we might be at the stage where the walls make sense. Love the pocket farms. It's dangerous against a Knight Civ, but because both players are playing Cav, neither can really afford to freely roam to the flank like that. Unless you know there's going to be something. Like, Anatan keeps doing it because he knows this trade and he knows the reaction will be to defend. Although this might be a misstep. I know. He keeps trying to get out, but Louis, he's always staying in position to try and dive because he knows with the walls already in position, he can get a better trade. Warrior Monk throws away his life. Crossbows are now being dove into. Not really what Louis wants to commit to. I'm starting to see some sprint replacements coming through. There might be a world in which you can kind of pinch Jeanne here, but the angles aren't really supporting it. Who wins this now? Because the problem is Louis is just scaling trade freely now. There's no pressure on him anymore, right? And he's got triple marketplace. Not to mention merchant guilds is online. I can't favor Anatan's situation. He's never resolved the food issue, which is making this even worse considering he's trying to scale into mass knights, right? He's kind of scamming himself at this stage. Military Academy is going to be queued up, but with what resources are you leveraging this? Quick walls. Cheeky moves there. Gold has at least been locked, but remember, it doesn't matter as much for Louis. He has got access up here, sure, but the traders can fill that gap as well. 23% win rate for Anno versus Louis and ladder. I think that's because Anatan doesn't really like the late game that much. I mean, he can play it, right? Most high-level players can play it quite well. But you can see with the approach Anatan takes, he's more focused on the first 20 minutes. Louis, every single game you watch of him, even when he's playing aggressive, you can see a tone of, how do I get to Imperial? Keep has been discovered. We've seen this before from Louis. I think this is where a Reddit thread goes up saying that castles aren't very powerful. Mass Knight's in. Village is trying to repair, but nice wraparound there. Should just kind of prevent it. Army is trying to react, but it's not going to be quick enough here. Anatan is already behind on economy. He's about to be even further. Village is just trying to buy a little bit more time, but while all this is happening, Louis is heading into Imperial while also butchering Anatan's. Backstab comes through. Villagers are getting culled. Boiling Oil will not be complete in time. Divine Restoration gets pumped. And Louis able to shuffle off into the fog before Anatan can get us around. And this might just be almost like an immediate GG. Anatan doesn't have an economy set up for late game still. He focused on gold, which is smart, but he never got the farms online. Meanwhile, Louis, all he needs to do is just run circles until he gets the upgrades, right? And Red Palace is being rushed by 25, so it's not far off. A lot of them weren't active, they just got activated. This should light a fire underneath Anatan's ass. He has to move, but this is, I think, what people find obnoxious about Red Palace, is Red Palace gives you Imperial Age, I don't want to say for free, but easier than most civs get it. Because once you have that tech complete, there isn't a punishment attack that comes. It's like trying to deal with White Tower right now with the English, right? You know they're rushing Castle Age, but you now know you can't dive because that one landmark will snipe your whole army. Red Palace is like that on some performance-enhancing drugs. It's out of control. Yeah, you know, Jeanne is going to go down, but the Knight upgrade is halfway there. He might be able to pin him, but he needs to pin him right now. Saint's Blessing is getting activated, so look at that difference in damage. Was there, +2 and the +1. But that isn't going to be enough math to support you, not with the elite tech that's now on the way. Villagers are going to get blocked here. Knight count in favor of Anatan's. I'm impressed he's managing this with such a weak food economy. How much longer can he really keep that up, though? Farm count is now up to 25. If he can get to 40, no hope, no shot. The moment the elite tech comes through, Louis MT and his Jeanne, Louis MT and his mass French Knight builds look unstoppable. So far, the win rate has impressed me with both French and Jeanne on this test server. Something about the meta is shifting, and weirdly enough, some of the worst performing civs of Season 8 are becoming some of the strongest in Season 9.